Hey everybody, it's Nicole Bonner, and you're listening to Thrive in Chiropractic, the podcast that talks about how to start a practice for students and chiropractors who are thinking about becoming practice owners. Today is our first official podcast episode in this series where we follow Colton O'Brien on his journey from chiropractic student to doctor to business owner. Welcome, Colton.
Hey everyone, it's great to be here.
So we've been doing weekly discussions live on Facebook for the last 6 months, where we've been following your journey from student to business owner. And now we're here with an official podcast. It's pretty crazy, right?
It is crazy. It's been an amazing experience so far.
So today we're going to spend a little time getting to know you and recap some of our previous shows so that new listeners can catch up with where you're at. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
Alrighty then. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Colton, you have had a lot going on in these last 2 weeks. Do you want to just give us like a quick recap?
Yeah, I took part 4 last Saturday, so about a week ago. And up until that point, I was just, the last 2 weeks, I was really just head down, just in the book and trying to do the best I could to pass so I could open up an amazing practice and serve as many people as possible. And then other than that, I've been getting some wedding stuff done. We get married in less than a month now, so we're getting a lot of things around and together for that. Which all these things, like, they're stressful, but like at the same time, such a blessing. And then when you're finishing up school, you got a bunch of paperwork and assignments that you got to finish up so you can walk across that stage. So that's what this week has been, is just powering through that. And like, I think I finished my last assignment this morning at clinic, so I feel a lot of peace. I feel a lot of ease in my body, and just excited for the next chapter now.
How did the boards go? Tell us about that experience, because taking boards is quite the experience.
So the preparation, like, I'm the type of person that, like, I'm probably an over preparer for things like that. So I walked in really, really confident, really prepared. Nothing can really prepare you for that part 4, like just doing it. So I remember my first room, I was pretty shaky. I was like, it was just a weird scenario, like people I'd never seen before in an environment that I've never been in before. And like, my sympathetics jumped through the roof. And after that, I kind of got my bearings and moved more fluidly through the exam. But it was really fun. It was like, so for people that haven't taken it yet, or people that are just wondering, if you're watching, you pretty much do. You just walk into a room and there's a grader and a paid actor, and you got to perform either like a neurologic test or an orthopedic test. Some are physical exams like heart, lung, abdomen, and then you also do rooms of adjusting and then case histories. And so it's kind of like a game show. Like, you walk in, you got 5 minutes, got to do what you got to do, and then you walk out, never to see those people again.
And for students that are watching this, what would they be doing to prepare to have an outcome like you did? Like, obviously you sound super confident. You went in, really confident and convicted.
I would say just like get in the book and study and prepare. Just know that ortho is like the back of your hand. I do board reviews. Board reviews are super helpful. Like, that's just what has helped me all the way through school. So take board reviews for all the boards, in my personal opinion. But know the orthos, learn how to take a case history, and truly just be confident. And like, a lot of, I haven't gotten my scores back, so I can't really say sorry, my light's going off, what's right or wrong, but like, have charisma. Like, just treat them like they're people that you're going to see in practice, and you're going to be the doctor, so just do the right thing. So that's what I would say. Prepare, and then just be yourself.
Oh, and think back to when you first entered chiropractic school, like 3.5 years ago. Did you ever think or dream that you'd be opening your own practice and doing a podcast right before you graduated? Was that even on your radar?
No, I knew the Lord had something big for me, but I knew I wanted to open a practice at some point. But to say that I was going to do it right when I graduated chiropractic school, I wouldn't have believed you. So it's a really surreal feeling. I feel super blessed.
we're going to watch some outtakes from some of our Facebook live streams that Colton and I have done together, and really basically going through his journey of the last 6 months of him going through the process of building the practice of his dreams and going through our Jumpstart program, which is going to be the foundation for your practice, Colton, right? And so, first of all, it's crazy. It's been a crazy 6 months, and we've had right. It's been crazy. We've had some laughs. We've truly had some inspirational moments, and we've had some real like raw emotions going through these last 6 months, haven't we?
We really have. It's been the whole spectrum.
It has been the whole spectrum. And so we're going to see some clips. I want you guys that are watching this and enjoying this, join our Facebook group, right? Make sure you guys join our Facebook group because we are posting stuff on a regular basis, just like free value content for you guys. Whether you want to become an associate after you graduate, or if you're like Colton and you just want to just blow the roof off of a practice and get out there and start practicing. Make sure that you join our Facebook group because there's going to be lots and lots of goodies in that. Okay, so let's get into it. So Jumpstart has taken you on a journey, Colton, and it takes you on a journey through getting clarity around the type of practice that you want. And it really has taken you all the way through opening your doors. All right, so our first clip, we were talking about mission and vision is your roadmap. My first question for you is, once we started going through that and like honing in on the mission statement and your niche, we talked a little bit about an avatar. Were you able to start to see your practice in your mind's eye?
Absolutely. And that's been like the funnest part of this. It's like really starting to see the mental effort and the thoughts turn into reality just in the process of this really short time of 2 weeks. And it's been super fun. And that's a word I would describe it as, is fun.
That's awesome. And we get a lot of stuff done in just a couple of weeks, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been great.
Like you went from like a blank canvas to now you have this like beautiful vision.
Absolutely.
Of what you want to achieve.
Yeah, it was like I really liked the analogy that you gave before I came on about all the boats and the bridge, because that's really what it felt like. I felt like I was just kind of trotting in the water, not knowing which way land was or where to go, but now there's a bridge to take me from one side to the other, and that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like a roadmap with actionable steps that I can take to reach the place that I'm wanting to go.
Oh, Colton, you don't even look like that anymore.
That was a long time ago.
It really wasn't all that long ago. What was it,
No.
like 6 months ago?
Yeah, it really wasn't. It really wasn't too long ago. I just feel like a totally different person than I was in that time. So it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't.
I don't know if you ever read the book. It's called "If You Want to Walk on Water, You Have to Get Out of the Boat." It's by a author called John Ortberg. Is his name, and he talks about how the disciples were in the boat, and there was this huge storm, right? And I believe they were crossing like the Sea of Galilee, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, Colton, because it's been a while. But then there's like this huge storm, and they're like tossing around on the boat, and like the waves are like crashing over the boat, and there's water like getting into the boat, and it's dark. It's like in the middle of the night. It's totally dark, and the disciples are like totally scared. And then all of a sudden they see this like outline, this like shadow of something walking toward them on the water. And of course it's Jesus, right? So Jesus is walking toward the boat, right? And Peter is like looking, and he's like looking, and he's like, "Is that you? Is that you?" And Jesus is like, "Yeah, it's me." And he's like, he tells him to get out of the boat and walk toward him, right? And at first Peter is like, "Well, how do I really know that it's you?" Right? And that's where faith comes in, And so anyway, long story short, Peter gets out of the boat and he starts walking toward Jesus, right? And he's walking on water, right? I think he's like the only other man that walked on water, right, beside Jesus. And then all of a sudden, he gets distracted. He gets distracted by the storm around him. He gets distracted by the wind. He gets distracted by the waves. And it's the moment he takes his eye off of Jesus, he starts to sink.
Mhm.
And that's what life is like. Is the moment we take our eye off of the vision, off of the creation, and you start focusing on the details, or you're focusing on the storm, that's when frustration sets in and depression sets in and anxiety sets in, and that's where we create conflict within ourselves, and then we get stuck. That's what produces stuckenness.
Absolutely.
Clip number 2, we were talking about advice for students and talking to realtors. you were if you were talking to other students in your position, what kind of advice? I mean, you're just starting this whole process now, but what kind of advice, that maybe something that you've learned so far, that you would give to somebody else getting ready to open a practice?
I'd say first, like, get really clear in your vision. Like that I understand why it's the first module, because that's the most important thing, is like knowing. Well, first you got to know who you are to know what you want to do. So really, it took a deep dive into myself and understanding who I am, what I want, why I want what I want, and then understanding what are my core values. So then those core values can drive my mission. And then once you have your mission, your vision becomes even more clear. And you know, I'm not 100% clear on everything that's going to happen in the future, but I'm getting more clear on who I am and what I want to do. And then the next thing is just take a step. Like I said earlier, you don't have to run the marathon right now, but you do have to take that next step. Like, you don't have to get all the way through, but take that step. This week you had me contact a bunch of commercial real estate agents, and for the life of me, I have not even considered that. I was like, okay, I'll figure that out like a month before I'm ready to get settled down. And I'm telling you, I've learned so much in just a few conversations with people this week, and they've educated me in so many areas of real estate and just life in general and community in general. And I've had amazing conversations. It's like really fun to do the business stuff. I see why people enjoy it. So that's the thing that I would say. It's like, and don't let fear determine what you do. Like, move through life with faith, and then get a coach. Get a coach is crucial.
All right, let's see. Clip number 3. This one was awesome because we were talking about mental blocks. It's not all fun and games. So this week we were working on creating your dream team, right? And that's kind of fascinating because as you were going through some of the homework that we had recommend doing, which one of the things was creating what should one of your ads look like. What were the different parts of the ad? How do we get people to look at them? How do we make them attractive? How do we make a position attractive? We're working on all that kind of stuff. And you were telling me earlier today that you had some like mental blocks of hiring a team right off the gate. Did you want to share that with our audience today? What was going through your head on that?
Absolutely. So, just kind of in my time at school, I've seen some amazing chiropractors come through. You know, we're young kids, tons of debt, and you know, money's not something I have like crazy ton of experience with, or like an income of any level. So I've seen a lot of my friends and mentors open up, and they just kind of open up by themselves and start small. And I mean, I have seen a few people start really big, grandiose offices and have a CA and stuff like that. But my mindset wasn't there. It was just like, okay, I'm going to start, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to just work as hard as I can. And then once I reach a certain point, then I'll bring someone on, or once I have a certain amount of income, then I'll bring someone on to help me. And so whenever we started talking about team building, I had felt a lot of like mental resistance because I was like, I don't know if this is going to apply to me because I won't be ready for a team member once we open up. Like, I mean, I have Liz and she can help me out where she can help me out, but I'll do the rest myself. But I had to like, listening to your videos, you made perfect sense on why it's important to have a CA and someone to help you, and understanding that I'm not starting with nothing. Like there's going to be patients on the books day one ready to be served, and I'm going to need someone to help me process and love on them, and then multiple things such as like the CA role, helping me market, helping me go out in the community and screen. And it's not just that person that sits at the desk and answers the phone. It's much more than that. So really having to fix my relationship with, one, money, and two, my limiting beliefs as it relates to being practice.
That was like an aha moment, Colton. It was like you're, whew.
Yeah, it was a like continual journey of like understanding like my preconceived notions on what I mean, we talked in a few videos before that about vision and having a vision. But like you can only really see as far as and like some things just weren't in my awareness yet. And then with them being put into my awareness without that previous idea of them, I didn't love the idea, but the more time I sat with it, the more it made sense. And I noticed a lot of my decision making was based out of fear instead of based out of faith, and that's something that I really preach, is like operating out of faith instead of fear.
Yeah. You and I talked about that so many times. It's like, man, this is your dream and I'm going to support your dream any way that I absolutely can. I'm going to support you. The major thing that I want for you is I want you making empowered decisions. Yeah. So now, like, we're rolling through this. Clip number 4 Kelly pulled out was Trinity Life Chiropractic is born. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Wow.
So there's a lot to branding. So in this week, we're going to go through creating your logo, coming up with your practice name. So we alluded to this. I think you already know your practice name already, but we didn't let you say it. We didn't let you say it. I don't know. Do you want to spill the beans and let everybody know what the name is going to be, or do you want to wait and maybe refine it?
I'm pretty sure on it. Like it's what I've been the name since I think I was in like Tri-3. So it's always been Trinity Life Chiropractic, and it's the name that I love, and it's the name that I want to go with.
I love that. That's so great. Okay, now tell us why.
Okay, there's many reasons why. So one, like the Holy Trinity is like, that's what my life is rooted in: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I'm nothing without my faith, and I'm nothing without God and without Jesus. So that's like first and primary. And then second, in chiropractic, we recognize a triunity, which is that intelligence that is in all matter. And then we recognize the force from that intelligence, and then we recognize matter itself. So intelligence, force, and matter. So that's really cool. And then, if anything in health, it's not just what you see on the outside. It's mental, it's physical, it's emotional. So those are some reasons. And then also, like, I love the famous Didi quote where he talks about uniting man the physical with man the spiritual. So an adjustment can't happen just me and the patient. So it's me, God, and the patient all there for the adjustment to actually happen. So those are the reasons why I chose that name. And then life, because that's what we're supporting. That's what ultimately chiropractic leads to, is life in full expression.
I love it. Now that I can see why Kelly chose that clip to revisit. That was beautiful, Colton.
Yeah, I feel it. Those words are the perfect expression of how I feel and what that name has always meant to me.
Excellent. That's awesome. All right. So then once we got your name, then we had to figure out how to brand you. Right. So clip number 5, we're going into branding life. Really great conversation on how, like, okay, that's fine if you are in the business of treating pain, but we're chiropractors. We're not really in the business of treating pain, right? So the problem with that type of branding and marketing is that you're going to attract those kinds of people. So if you attract those kinds of people, then you better make sure that you want to do pain relief care. Because what will end up happening is, like, you'll attract those types of people, and then like your culture and your practice will be split. It'll be shaky. It'll be like un un like unsolid ground. Like your foundation won't be strong because you're going to have like a certain percentage of patients that are coming in for pain, a certain percentage of patients that are coming in for, athletics or like sports injuries or sports treatments, and then you'll have a certain percentage coming in as family patients or wellness patients, and it's just like it's too much of a mishmash. Does that make sense? Am I explaining this? Am I explaining this well?
No, that makes perfect sense. And once you started talking about branding, it kind of, the light bulb went off. And so, yeah, that's something that's really important to me because, like you just said, I think you talked about it in an earlier module, just talking about like what you advertise towards is what you're going to have in your office. So, like you just said, if I'm just focused on pain, my office is going to be full of pain, and like people getting out of pain is very important. And I'm not ignorant to the fact of how pain affects your physiology, affects your mental state, and all that. But chiropractic is so much bigger than just pain. Yes, don't want anyone dealing with pain, but pain ultimately is a lesson. So sometimes we get in that pain and it teaches us. But what I want to speak on is life, and that's what I'm marketing to, and that's what I'm branding to is life and full expression, where people can live a life of abundance and become their best self. And that happens whenever you're free of vertebral subluxations in the spine, meaning that whenever your spine, when your brain to body is clear and coherent and can speak to each other from inside out, that's whenever true health and true healing occurs. And so that's what I want to speak to.
That's
and that's
awesome.
What I want to brand to.
And you should start taking notes on what you just said for next week, because that's how you're going to brand your office. That was great. So now that all your branding is done, Colton, are you happy with the way that it turned out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very happy. I mean, there's still refinements. I don't think it's ever going to be a finished product. Like the message that we deliver as chiropractors is so potent. But it's at the same time, it's so simple. So what I'm really working on right now is how can I simplify the message, but still maintain the bigness of it.
I love it. I love it. And that's how people are going to remember you. That's how your brand is going to be ingrained in their mind.
Mm.
Awesome. All right, man. So we get through branding. Now we're on clip number 6. No one wants to balance the boat alone. What does that mean? I don't remember this clip. Let's see what Kelly has for us.
Let's see. Liz and everything that Liz is going to want me to do, but I'm there by her side, ready to support her and whatever she needs from me.
That's awesome. How are you feeling about like balance? Like, are you having any challenges with balancing like school and opening a business and personal relationships? Not just with Liz, but friends, family, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm struggling right now. This week was hard for me. I just felt like I was very I was living very task driven, and like I'm a very like relational type person. Like I'd obviously rather hang out and talk with people and enjoy a good time than sit down and just hammer down homework and stuff. But this week I had a lot of school stuff to get done, and it's kind of frustrating because it just feels like busy work while a lot of us that are about to graduate are in the busy season of our life. And I spent all of my free time doing homework really this week, and it kind of just seemed, like I said, a waste of time. But I know it's making me a better person in the end, and doing hard things is always worth it. So I just, my good friend kind of gave me like that conscious reality check whenever I was like, man, this week it's going to be so hard to do this. And he goes, no, it's not going to be hard. It's just going to require a lot. And I was like, okay, I need to shift the way I'm speaking to myself and to others. So I was a little overwhelming. And then planning a wedding and the business stuff is fun. Like I'm really having a good time because this is what I like want to be focused on and want to be doing. And then working all the clinic hours is I'm learning so much every day, but it's requiring a lot as well. I'm not used to it, so my body's adapting, and I'm getting stronger. But I've had moments of struggle this week, and I don't mind sharing that.
Awesome. Appreciate you being open and honest with everything that you're happening once again, because sometimes people don't want to feel like they're in the boat alone. They want to know that there are other people in that boat with them. And I don't know if you had a chance. Nice. Well, that was a big one.
Yeah, that brings back a lot of emotions. Like I was talking about it today when I was on the phone with my mom, but like those towards the end, like with boards, wedding, graduation, and just like how busy school and life was and clinic, I was having a very, very hard time, and I was putting on a brave face and just getting through it. But I was struggling. I didn't feel like myself. It's like the first time like in chiropractic school where I really, really faced burnout. Yeah, and it's just funny to look at that version of myself on the screen and just like seeing myself hold it together, but also knowing inside that I was scared and I was hurting and I was tired and I don't know. And here I am on the other side. So it's a testament to principle 6 that everything requires time. Every process requires time. So I don't know. I feel good now, but that time in my life was really hard.
Yeah. Amen. And that's a fascinating lesson. I hope there are other students that are watching this podcast, because we all go through seasons that are fantastic and we all go through seasons that are tougher than others. And there always is another side. And so if there was one piece of advice that I can personally give you from that clip, and that would be to always remember that you're always going to get through it. Like every challenge, you're always going to make it through. You're always going to get to that other side. Wow, man, that was a trip down memory lane.
That was cool. It's made me really appreciative of that whole journey, especially where I am today, and just your guidance through this whole process.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. As we all do at the end of each year into the beginning of New Year, I was really reflecting on my 2022 and sat down and I've been doing a lot of praying of what I want my 2023 to look like. And as I was reflecting, I was like, oh man, I was so blessed to be able to get to watch 4 or 5 different practices go through this whole journey and transformation of not having anything and from nothing creating this beautiful masterpiece that you guys call your dream practice. And it was, I think, more of a blessing for me to watch all of you guys go through this than maybe anybody else. And that's what I want my 2023 to look like. I just want to see more people just create the practice in the life, more so the life, because like think about why do you do what you do? Well, you do it to have a fabulous life and to contribute to humanity and to the lives of others. So we are out of time for today. Thrive in Chiropractic will be back again next week with Dr. Colton O'Brien. Colton, can you tell everyone how they can find you?
Yeah, to catch the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Colton O'Brien, or also my business account at Trinity Life Chiropractic. On Facebook, you can find me at Trinity Life Chiropractic, and our official website is trinitylifechiro.com. That's
awesome. Colton, as always, thank you for sharing your story with me and our audience.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for listening to Thrive in Chiropractic with your host for today, Dr. Nicole Bonner and Dr. Colton O'Brien. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all the tips and tricks you can use to build your practice. If you're keen to follow more stories of students and chiropractors becoming practice owners, you can always, as always, you can head over to our Facebook group, Turning Students and Chiropractors into Business Owners, and become a part of a community of emerging chiropractic entrepreneurs. All right, that's all for this episode, folks. See you next time.